Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Carly and Convo. We're with the lovely Anna Williamson. So you may know her from a fair few things. She's always on TV, and now most of the time she's on Celebs Go Dating. So thank you, Anna, for joining us. I was actually going to say, I remember watching you on my screen when you were doing the kids presenting. So
no way, that's making me feel old.
I said to my mum earlier, she's like, who are you talking to today? I was like, Anna Williamson. She's like, you used to watch her when you were younger.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
You know how much that means to me, actually. That really means a lot to me because, yeah, I mean, like you say, I've been on telly quite a long time when you start to think about it. I don't feel as old as I am, truly. Where did life go?
Well, you look very young and very flawless. So
I'll take that. I'll take a lot of makeup.
No, you look naturally glam. I'm not having that.
Very sweet.
But we are here today to talk about a few things, but we'll start with your new book. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? It's exciting.
Thank you so much. I mean, it would be very, very remiss of me to not do a massive plug of it and show it to you. There it is. Do you know what? I got this a couple of days ago, and this is the first copy I've received, and I'm very excited about it. So it's Where is the Love? The Honest Guide to Dating and Relationships. This is my 4th book, but this little baby is really your kind of manual, your go-to honest guide on everything to do with dating and relationships. And I've been wanting to write it for quite a while, really, because as one of the hosts of Celebs Go Dating, I spend a lot of my time on telly and off telly with my private clients, helping them with relationships and dating. And it just felt really important to bring a lot of that advice and a lot of those very real stories and situations to everybody, make it really tangible. Because, you know, dating and relationships, you know, I think lots of us feel like we're getting it wrong, or are we the only ones that are having challenges? And it's like a lot of things in life. If you're not taught how to actually do something or how to actually navigate something, how would you know what to do? So in the book, it's everything from you know, how to date better, you know, how to feel better about yourself, how to kind of, you know, what things to look out for, and equally, like if you're in relationships like I am, you know, I'm married, it's just being accepting that, you know, it's not all rosy, but what you can do, you know, we all argue. There's a whole chapter in here on how to argue properly. You know, when kids come along, how it can really mess up the sex life, you know, and the intimacy. And it's all of those things, really. It's how to keep your relationship alive if it's being a little bit broken. And ultimately, right at the end of it, it's also recognizing when actually there might be some red flags, and perhaps the sensible thing to do would be actually to leave a relationship. And I even tell you and help you do that in the best possible way you can. So yeah, it's kind of a love guide for everyone.
Well, I thought this was just going to be for my single friends, but you're saying this is for my friends, maybe me, who I'm wifed up. Well, wifed up.
Are you wifed up?
Well, I've got a partner. He might be watching.
Nice.
But yeah, I thought this was going to be for my single friends, but you now say this is covering all bases. So
all bases, babes. And this is literally it. I start from kind of the infancy of, do I want a relationship? I'm on the dating scene. Do I want to go into the dating scene? To when you've perhaps, you know, got into a situationship, you know, fledgling relationship kicking in. Maybe that, you know, you've been together a couple of years and you're hitting the skids, or not even hitting the skids necessarily, but you just feel like you need to kind of move with the times a little bit, because relationships always evolve. We always need to work on them. Maybe you're several years into a relationship and you're thinking, oh, we're a bit stagnant, or, you know, so much happens, doesn't it, in relationships that test us all the time, let alone by ourselves. And really a lot of this book is about communication. You know, the key to a good relationship is good communication, working out what your partner's like, what they need, what they don't need from you, and equally what you need, and communicating that to each other. And you know what, I'm in a relationship. I am a life coach, I'm a relationship coach, but you know what, I don't always get it right myself. You know, I'm human, and I think it's to give ourselves a bit of a break. And I guess ultimately I think a lot of us feel like, and do, throw in the towel perhaps a little bit early, you know, when there are a lot of things you can do to kind of work on your relationship before you get to that point of thinking, you know, I don't think I can do this anymore. And for me, I think coming out of the pandemic, or coming through this last couple of years, it became very apparent to me when I wrote the book, that, you know, the dating landscape went pretty barren, and relationships were as tested as they ever have been. And it felt important to just be really honest with people and let people know that it's all right, you're not on your own.
Well, how you described all the stages there, I was like, well, that's one of my friends, that's another friend. So you've described all of our lives. So I know what I'm getting everyone for the birthday this year. So that'll be sorted.
Yes, they all need to get it. Anyone that knows me or follows me or sees me on the telly or reads my other books knows that I'm very anecdotal. I'm very straight talking. You know, I don't mind a little swear word here and there if it punctuates the point. You know, there's no jargon. You won't find jargon in this. You won't find jargon with anything I do. It's just really honest. And I've got lots of contributors that have all in regular relationships that have also fessed up, you know, to some of the annoying, you know, the skid marks on the loo, you know, the way that some people argue, some people, you know, need to talk things out in an argument. Some people like to step back in an argument, you know, recognizing there's no right or wrong way. It's just about really starting to understand you and your relationship, because so many people get into relationships, perhaps get into marriage or committed partnerships, and don't really know what the next stage is.
Yeah.
And it's really important to know what the next stage is, because it's so much more than a party in a nice dress.
Yeah. Well, as you say, you're happily married now. You've got 2 lovely kids. But has there been in the past any sort of dating disasters, or like times that you've even reflect on in this book, maybe, that you think, I didn't handle that great, or that was a bit of a mare?
It's a great question, actually. Yeah, I mean, I can't write a book, you know, unpicking relationships without putting my own in the spotlight. And I'm certainly not perfect. I mean, dating-wise, I mean, I've always been sort of with a boyfriend really since the age of 15, and I'm now 40, you know, happily married, I'd like to point out. I think for me, one of my worst dating experiences was I was set up on a blind date with a sort of friend's brother. And we just didn't gel, like, and that was really awkward, because then when the friend was like, so how did it go, you know, it's not for me. So that could be quite awkward, but yeah, I've sort of been fairly unscathed in horrific dating disasters. I mean, I'm you know, I am a classic Bridget Jones, in the sense that I know I've dropped glasses of red wine at dinner tables. I've had things in my teeth. I do seem to be a bit of a real life Bridget Jones at times, but we all do these funny things.
No,
and I
can most definitely relate to old Bridget. Definitely, that is probably the story of my life. I'm clumsy. I drop things, fall over. So yeah.
Wear big pants. I mean, I'm a big fan of wearing massive pants. Yeah.
I mean, we all do. We all need them. But also, I'll go on Celebs Go Dating. That's on our TVs right now, and that's what you are on. What are your thoughts of this series so far and the lovely cast?
Oh, I'm so enjoying it. And this cast really are the most eclectic yet. And if you haven't watched it yet, guys, just catch up on all 4. Celebs Go Dating is on every night, Monday to Thursday, 9 p.m. E4. This cast are really delivering. And let's just say, stick with it at the beginning and you will see what picks as the series goes in. I think this bunch are the pickiest bunch and most challenging daters we've ever had. And there comes a point in this series where we nearly throw someone out of the agency. There comes a point where one of the celebs wants to leave the agency. So yeah, we've got it all kicking off.
We've got it all going on. Well, looking at that bunch, that's no surprise there that you tell me that stuff, really, because they are, impressionable,
lively,
full of life bunch. Yeah, iconic. Is there anything about the whole Celebs Go Dating process, the set, anything about it that, say, the audience at home would find really surprising, or like before you went on the show, you were like, "What? I had no idea."
That's a great question, actually. Well, so the agency is in central London, and we've gone back to the agency from the mansion. And I think what people would find probably most surprising about it is that it's quite concealed. It is just sort of this black door in the middle of this very nice row of Victorian townhouses. And essentially, the agency is on 6 floors, actually, but you only really see 2 or 3 of those. So it's like one big house. And I think when people come to visit the agency, they sort of expect to walk into a set, but it's not. It is actually a big townhouse that, you know, you walk in that door and, oh yeah, there's Tom's reception. You walk up the stairs, oh yeah, there's Anna and Paul's room. There's a few extra rooms that you don't see, you know, on camera, which, you know, have got production people sort of hiding in. But I think people, and then right on the top floor of the agency, we have all of our dressing rooms and hangout rooms where we all kind of go up just to chill out in between agency appointments. So yeah, I think people would be maybe surprised to know that it is quite a genuine place.
Yeah, and I think I read what Chloe Brockett said the other day. She was surprised there wasn't like cameras everywhere. It was more like they're like hidden in the walls. So she felt like she could be herself more, because that wasn't like cameras sort of in your face. So I didn't know there's like hidden cameras. Are they sort of everywhere, or just in the main, like sort of Tom's room and your room, or?
Just in the main areas that we film, and it's kind of by design, really, because Paul and I, if you know, fans of the show will know, you know, we really ask them to offload to us, to really talk to us and be their genuine self, which they do, to be fair. And we wouldn't get those results, if there were cameramen and floor managers running around and shouting, you know, it would feel very like being on a set, especially as a lot of the reality guys that come on the show are used to having camera people around. So yeah, it's what we call a fixed rig in TV, like Big Brother. It's where the cameras are hidden. They're hidden. Well, I say they're hidden. You can see them, but you wouldn't notice. They're all remote cameras. They're just little. They're about sort of that size. And there's sort of lots of them hidden around in pot plants and all around the place. And there's microphones, you know, hidden in picture frames and things like that. So yeah, everyone's always seeing and hearing.
You're not going to get away with anything there. So how much work do you and Paul and even Tom really put in? Is there so much more behind the scenes that we don't see? Like, is Tom has a real job? Is he just there for like the lovely, bubbly personality? What goes on with your role, sort of like off screen?
Yeah, we are. I think this is the thing as well. I mean, we really do. We are the real deal. Tom is so important when it comes to the show because everyone loves tea, and he is exactly as he is. Everyone says that. All three of us are actually. There is no act with any of us, and Tom's role is really important because he is the first port of call for Paul and I. You know, he is there to instantly make our celebrities feel more relaxed, to make them feel more comfortable, to sort of loosen them up a little bit, to get them ready for when they come upstairs to Paul and my office, where we obviously, you know, go for the jugular and get started with the coaching. So I would say all three of us, we work as a little team, and it's very important that the role that all three of us have, and everything that Paul and I do and say comes from us. We aren't produced or directed or scripted in any way. Everything that comes out of our mouths comes from us. It's what we want to impart, and it's lovely that the makers of the show trust us to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite pretty rare, but you're allowed to do that. So you must be quite trustworthy and reliable, because I don't think they do that with a lot of people, Anna.
They don't. No, they don't. And I think Paul and I are of the point in our lives and the stage in our career. You know, this is what we do off camera. If we were told what to say, we would say no, thank you, and we would let someone else do it.
Yeah, and I think we just had a question flashed up from Sam. If we get that up again. Hey guys, who are the best and worst celebrity daters you've come across?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me go with this series so far. I think those of you that we're only on episode 4. We had episode 4 go out last night. There's 20. We're on for 5 weeks. At the moment, it's Ryan Mark. So Ryan Mark Parsons from The Apprentice, probably one of the rudest daters we've ever had. But I would urge people to stick with it and watch his journey. I hate using the J word, but watch his journey. He's a slow burner, but by Jove, he eventually gets there. And actually, Nikita, she gets a lot of stick in the press, particularly because she came off Married at First Sight in quite a heated way. But actually, I don't want to give too much away, but she does well when it comes to dating. The feedback she gets from guys in general is really, really positive. So I'd say those are the ones that we have found particularly challenging, though, on this series. And then going back into previous series, we've often had issues with some celebs. Some are great at dating, some are absolutely terrible, but that's why we enjoy it.
Yeah. And then looking at who you've got now, I will mention Eureka, who's an absolute icon. I watched last night's episode, and she seems to probably be a little bit more comfortable. There she is, with sort of swaying towards a younger men category sort of thing. We've tried with the older guys. I saw that. Seems to maybe like the younger men more. Why do you think that is? And do you think a younger guy is who she probably needs, or like at this point in her life? What do you think?
I mean, Eureka is young at heart. And she, like you say, when I found out Eureka was coming on the show, I was so excited. I mean, we all know Eureka, and I'm delighted to say that she is absolutely lovable as anything. I adore that woman. I think she's a champion, and she's a naughty little minx. She's got a very young heart. You know, she's got a little potty mouth. And I think for Eureka, I mean, we do try and stretch her dating repertoire on the show. As you can see, so far, she has dated a couple of guys that are older. That was by design, to try and help her open up her thinking a little bit more. But we have reverted to type as well with some younger guys. And let's just say maybe we meet somewhere in the middle with her.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. But I've also heard that she is great on a night out. Have you had the opportunity of having a drink with her yet? Going out, like out of the show?
We haven't been out, but we've had many occasions where we've had a glass of fizz, just because of the nature of the show. When we do long filming days in mixes and things like that, we've got a few of those coming up in the series. She did say as well, I'm hopefully going to have a little book launch, and she's going to pop along for that. But yeah, Eureka, she doesn't go out much, but when she does, she's quite good value.
I know. I'm jealous that you've spent that time. I think she'd be absolutely great on a night out. So I mean, good luck on your future ones.
Thanks.
We covered Nikita. I think you said she's got a bit tricky because she's really rigid with her type, but also fellow Geordie Marty from Geordie Shore. So I don't know if it's something with the Geordies. There's got some ballsiness in them. I mean, I love watching anything with Geordies in. They're literally normally my favourite people on the show, to be fair. I think you had to tell Marty off a little bit, didn't you? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, Marty gets on the receiving end of quite a few tellings off, which I don't think will be any surprise to anyone that knows Marty.
Yeah.
As you say, I mean, I love the Geordie Shore guys that come on. I mean, they really are a whole new, caliber. Marty is, an injection of energy. We suddenly had this, this tornado arrive when Marty came in. But what I love about Marty is that, to his own admission, he has never dated before. He's done plenty of other things with ladies, but he's never dated before. So for us, the challenge was actually doing the reverse with him when it came to dating. It was helping him think with his heart and his brain instead of perhaps something else. So he gets some of it right, he gets some of it wrong, and you'll see his story unfold.
We'll see. It's exciting because obviously the show had Chloe on before, which is her kind of ex, Chloe Ferry's ex, and now we've got Marty on there. So interesting to watch. With Chloe Brockett and Maid Chelsea's Miles, I know you've relaxed the rules a little bit with sort of co-star romances. Do you think they could actually really work on the outside world if they were to go off and
I mean, Chloe and Miles are an interesting one, and Paul and I, love is love, and we're very happy to support anyone that genuinely has a connection. And if that means cast start to get to know each other on a more intimate level, then yeah, I mean, if that's something they want to explore, then we will support that. And it stands to reason that we filmed the show over 3 months, and it can be quite a lonely old landscape for these celebs, particularly if they're having rubbish dates and we're telling them off every 5 minutes. So they do tend to stick to each other like glue. So when they start to get to know each other, it stands to reason that, if any potential attraction is kicking around, it may well take off. Miles and Chloe are an interesting one. They have a lot in common, actually. They might be very different, but actually they do have an awful lot in common. And I think you will start to see the respect that starts to grow between the two of them, which I think they would admit they didn't know if they would necessarily have. But it's an interesting storyline. It's an authentic storyline. Do they leave the show hand in hand as a romantic couple? I mean, I can't tell you that. You'll just have to watch. But let's just say we definitely start to invest in their storyline.
I'll keep tuned in. And Abs, bless him. I think you said he had some little immature ways. I mean, we saw him putting the gold stuff on his face at dinner as on a burger. It's kind of strange ways, bless him. Why do you think that is, that he sort of goes for more like the childish sort of elements when he's out on these dates?
Abs is a wonderful guy. Truly, he's one of our favourite, mine and Paul's, and he has perhaps one of the most impressive outcomes, I think, from his experience in Celebs Go Dating. Abs essentially is, I think, he, in the early episodes you're seeing, he feels very awkward. He's very guarded, and when you are guarded and have perhaps trust issues, as this will start to come out, it's much easier to revert to being deflective and the comedy fall guy, and doing silly things when you are perhaps fearful of being honest and open about yourself. So this is something that Abs is definitely going to start getting pulled up on by Paul and I. And we're going to start unpacking why he's doing these silly things, which are really immature, which is actually not doing him any favors, because he's a really nice guy. And honestly, Abs Love is one of the nicest blokes I've ever met. He's very deep, he's very spiritual, and yeah, he's a good man.
But you did meet him back in the day, that you revealed as well, didn't you? So he did not remember that, and you supported. Was it Blush you were with, but the girl band, and you supported them on tour, and he was like.
Do you know what? I don't blame him though. It was 20 years ago, and for me and the girl band at the time, it was definitely a much bigger deal for us to be supporting Five than it would have been for Five to have been being supported by us. I mean, we were kind of, two a penny, of these sort of wannabe girl bands that were coming through. And we had, mediocre success with it, but they obviously were having enormous success with it. They were the sellouts. So we only supported them once. So, we only had a couple of, we were, I think, just hanging out with them backstage for a bit. So I don't blame him for not remembering me at all. I looked a lot different back then as well. But
I don't know if do we have a picture of the girl band at all? We can flash it up.
I'm not sure. I showed it on the show last night. I mean, believe me, it's a joy to behold. But it was quite funny because I didn't tell Paul that we'd had about it. I deliberately left it a bit
like a surprise,
open-ended. He was like, what? You can see his face. He's like, what are you going to tell me? But obviously I was being a bit silly, a bit naughty.
Obviously, 5 were like known as the bad boys of pop. They were like, pop bad boys, weren't they? Did you see any of that behaviour when you're behind the scenes on tour? Did you get caught up in it yourself? Like, did you have any wild nights out with the boys, or was it just sort of perform, go home separate ways?
It was on that occasion, yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, I'd love to give you some more juicy goss. I mean, they were very loud. They were very, very polite. I remember them being really polite. I just remember them being really loud and like just taking over. But as you say, five boys who were the kind of the gritty boy band, you sort of expected that behaviour, really.
Yeah.
But we didn't go out on the town with them. Maybe Abs would have remembered me more.
Yeah, well, you should have. I feel like you should have got in there. That would have been nice to remember. I actually interviewed, because they've sort of come back as a trio now. I interviewed a couple of the lads from Five not so long ago. Yeah. So it was Sean and I can't remember his name. Sorry if you're watching, but yeah, they're still back together. They're still going for it and got new music out. So, you could do a reboot of Blush and then support them again.
I suppose I assume Abs isn't in the 5
No, I don't think he is. I don't think Jay is either. So I think it's just a 3.
Oh, yes, you're quite right. It's the other 3. Oh,
and we did see Jessica strut her stuff in the promo preview clip. How do you find her? Obviously, she's another Married at First Sight star, isn't she? But obviously Australian. Does she come in like the firecracker that she is?
Yeah, I mean, we've gone for the headline grabbers, haven't we? Yeah, I mean, Jess, I knew of her from Married at First Sight Australia as like, oh my gosh, the husband stealer, all the controversy around her. And fair play to Jess, she comes in totally owning that label, but wanting to dispel the myth around her that she is not a husband stealer. She is not a cheater, actually. And she shouldn't really be judged solely on that one appearance she had on Australian Married at First Sight. Jess is a consummate professional, is what I would say. I mean, Paul and I did wonder initially. We were like, is this an act? Because she's really good. Like, she just hits the ground running with dating. Her dates love her. She's really open, honest, and sweet. And we were almost like, is she too perfect? Like, is that, so I can have too much of a good thing? So we really put her to task on that, and we start to unpick, is she being genuine or isn't she? And you'll have to find out what happens.
Oh, all the teasing today. Not getting any gossip. Oh my God. Question from Stephen. Hi, Anna. The face-to-face feedback from dates. How did you find it? Was a shocker.
The face-to-face feedback. Yeah, in episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first time we've ever done that, and we thought we'll give it a bit of a go. We'll really, throw them into it. That was actually what you didn't see actually was it got a lot more heated with Ryan Mark and his date Dan when he went. I mean, to be bless Ryan Mark really, because he went up first and he got a bit more of a telling off from Paul than actually made the telly, because he was actually a bit more rude to Dan than made the actual cut in the end. He did say a few more rude things, so he did really get torn a strip off by Paul a lot more, and me. And so I think that paved the way for the other celebs to rein it in. And you could see them all thinking, oh, I'm not going to get told off like that. So they all were a little bit more generous with accepting their feedback, where I don't think they would have been had Ryan Mark not fallen on his sword. But yeah, they didn't like it. And I do think our dates loved it. So for us, it was a great, very exposing activity to do.
Yeah. And have you got anything else in the pipeline TV-wise? Will we be seeing you on our screens for anything else in the future?
I'm hoping so. Yes. There's lots of chats going on now. I mean, what's nice is, coming through the pandemic, it does seem to be that, more telly is being made, which is lovely.
Yes.
I'm on tour with my podcast partner, Louisa Zisman. We're going on.
Bring her up, actually, as you say.
So, yeah. Oh, there she is. Oh, there's my girl. Yeah, and we've and more from our podcast, one of the podcasts, which I can't believe we're still smashing it. In as up there as one of the top podcasts. I mean, that's an absolute treat. And obviously. Got Where Is the Love, my book coming out. So, that's coming out in a couple of weeks' time. You can pre-order that now. It's available everywhere. Just stick it into the search engine and everyone can get that. So it's all a bit busy, really. And yeah, obviously Celebs Go Dating's on for the next 4 weeks as well.
But we'll be seeing you more. I was going to say, actually, is there any other shows that you haven't done? Any reality ones, talent ones that you'd like to do that you sort of haven't got round to yet?
Great question. I mean, I think everyone said, I don't consider myself a celebrity, but I think I'm a Celebrity would be a really fun show to do, particularly in Australia. I'm quite ballsy, as people know. I can also be a bit of a wimp, and I'm quite loud. So yeah, I think, and I'm a bit of a team player. So I think something like I'm a Celeb would be really fun.
We'll put that out there. Hopefully, producers know if you're watching.
You never know.
And then was it right? You were trained as a reserve for Dancing on Ice once. If I think I read that, I could be wrong. So what happened there then? So it didn't sort of go too.
I broke my ankle. So I was training for Dancing on Ice, and I did all my training. I was actually quite good. I've still got my ice skates above me in my loft. Very nice ice skates ITV gave me. I was training. I was doing very well. I was about to go into partners pairings on camera, and the night before I was a bit of a silly wally and I did a move which was quite a simple one, but I heard a big crack and I broke my ankle. So that was me out the show. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just read quickly some of that. It was trained as a reserve. So, what happened there then? That horror story I did not expect. I mean,
I broke my ankle.
How long ago was that?
Maybe 10 years ago now.
Oh, so I doubt you want to go for that show again. I'd give that a wide berth.
Do you know what? It's funny you say that. I probably would consider it. I don't know. I mean, I know it sounds a bit silly. I think the older you get, the more wuss you become. I know I have a bit. I'm a bit like, I don't know if I'd really quite fancy breaking my ankle again live on telly. It was very painful and it was very annoying. And I've got kids now. I haven't got time to be on crutches. Back then it was fine, but I haven't got time now. I don't know. Never say never, but I don't know if it's up there as one of my number one.
Yeah, I don't blame you if you don't. But congratulations with your new book. We can hold it up again so everyone see it before we go.
It's Where Is the Love? The honest guide to dating relationships. You'll have a flipping good laugh and you'll also feel a lot better about yourself and your relationship and your dating situation when you read it. Trust me, it was a labour of love.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much, Anna. You've been so lovely to chat to, and congratulations. Good luck with it.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day, guys. Bye, babe.